Liftoff of this Falcon 9 rocket for NASA's and SpaceX's 25th commercial resupply services mission. The Dragon spacecraft you see there will fly more than 5,800 pounds of science, supplies, and food for the astronauts aboard the International Space Station. Good evening, and thank you for joining me for live launch coverage of CRS-25. I'm Megan Cruz. You just saw Falcon 9 and Dragon on Launch Complex 39A here right behind me at Kennedy Space Center. Fueling began about 10 minutes ago, and we have an instantaneous opportunity to launch at 8:44 p.m. Eastern Time. These resupply missions are important so NASA and its international partners can continue to conduct microgravity research aboard the space station.
Thanks, Megan. It's great to be covering today's mission in partnership with NASA. And like you just said, we spent the last few weeks working through an issue on Dragon after teams discovered a small vapor leak. Since then, we've completed thorough inspections and replaced the components that could have been degraded by exposure to this vapor. And we've been working hand in hand with NASA throughout the process. And now we're ready to launch. This year also is the 10-year anniversary of Dragon becoming the first private spacecraft in history to visit the International Space Station, deliver cargo, and then return to Earth. 5 years ago was our first reflight of a Dragon on the CRS-11 mission, and since then we've made 31 flights to the space station with 14 reflights of Dragon. Today's mission adds to that tally and will mark SpaceX's 30th launch of 2022. It'll also mark our third Dragon flight this year, following the crewed launches of Axiom 1 and Crew 4 back in April. Now on screen is our Falcon 9 rocket and the Dragon spacecraft sitting at the very top. The capsule flying today is our first third flight of a new cargo Dragon, which previously supported the CRS-21 and 23 missions last year. Now this version of Dragon is certified for up to 5 flights, and it'll be joining the Crew 4 spacecraft, which is currently docked at the station.
LG is go for Falcon 9, CRS-25 launch.
So range is go, weather is go.
T-minus 30 seconds.
It's a beautiful time of day to watch this launch if you're out on the beach.
T-minus 15.
And here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engine ignition. And liftoff. Liftoff of SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket, launching Dragon on the 25th mission to resupply the International Space Station with cool science and a new advanced instrument to more effectively study our planet's climate.
On the vehicle will get lower and lower as we raise our altitude. Coming up, we've got 5 events back to back. The first of those will be main engine cutoff, or MECO. That's where all 9 Merlin 1D engines on the first stage will shut down. Following that will be stage separation, where the first and second stages will separate. The first stage will flip around to make sure it's headed back towards the landing site and our drone ship named A Shortfall of Gravitas. And then the second stage will ignite its Merlin vacuum engine to boost Dragon into low Earth orbit during the second engine start, number 1. We just heard the call out there for engine chill-in on the second stage engine starting. The last event is the boost back burn on the first stage. That's to reduce the velocity of that vehicle as we prepare for atmospheric entry. Now, all of those events happen over about 45 seconds, and again, they are main engine cutoff, followed by stage separation, first stage flip, second stage engine start, and then boost back burn start. All those happening in just about 5 seconds.
Nico. Stage separation confirmed.
Fantastic sight.
Event started.
So the first 3 of those events are complete. And now the boost back burn is underway. The shot on our screen right now is of the Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage. And as this view toggles, you may catch the first stage. It is firing its Merlin 1D engines that burn on the first stage, lasting about 30 seconds. You can see the plume on the first stage on the left-hand side of your screen as we're doing the boost back burn.
Stage 1 boost back shutdown.
Successful shutdown of the first stage Merlin engines for the boost back burn. Second stage engine continuing to burn. That'll continue to burn until about the T plus 8 minute and 40-second mark into the mission. Now, if you're just joining us, welcome to our 25th commercial resupply mission to the International Space Station for our customer NASA. You're watching our 30th mission of 2022 and the 3rd Dragon flight to the International Space Station this year. We lifted off just about 4 minutes ago from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. On your screen are views of our first stage on the left-hand side of your screen with its grid fins deployed periodically, controlling its attitude to make its way back home. On the right-hand side of your screen is a shot of the Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage, performing its burn. It'll continue to burn for about another 4 minutes to take Dragon up to low Earth orbit. Now, speaking of the entry sequence on the first stage, to make its way back to that drone ship, it's going to have to execute 2 more burns. The first of those is the entry burn, where we'll ignite 3 of the Merlin engines, and that helps slow down the stage as we enter the upper part of the Earth's atmosphere. Following that, there will be a second burn, the landing burn, and there will only ignite a single Merlin 1D engine that'll bring the vehicle speed down to 0 for a soft touchdown on the drone ship. We've got some great sunlight on the vehicle, and you're periodically seeing some plumes of white. That's actually from our nitrogen gas thrusters that are helping to keep the first stage oriented, engines down, as we are in the vacuum of space at the moment. But once we get through that entry burn, grid fins, which are deployed, you can see 2 of them on your screen, will then take over control as we start to get atmospheric authority. And then the first stage will only use those grid fins to steer back towards our drone ship. So entry burn expected to start about 10 seconds for now.
On FTS is safe.
Just taking a quick look in, stage 2 engine performance, about nominal. Continuing to burn. We've got about 3 more minutes for that.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
So you can see the velocity on the first stage, bottom left-hand side of your screen, rapidly slowing down as we
Stage 1
fire
entry burn shutdown.
the entry burn. That burn only lasting about 15 seconds. And now we're doing a quick attitude correction to make sure we're pointing the heat shield down. And that entry burn and the plume coming back on the stage ends up depositing a small layer of carbon on the vehicle, which is what gives our first stages that awesome sooty look once we've reflown them. Now, Falcon 9 also has 4 landing legs. They're made of carbon fiber and aluminum honeycomb, placed around the base of the rocket, and they'll deploy just prior to landing during the landing burn. If we're successful in recovering this Falcon 9, it'll mark its 5th successful landing and our 130th landing overall of a Falcon 9, including Falcon Heavy missions. So landing burn coming up shortly.
Stage 1 landing bird.
Keep an eye out on the speed on the left-hand side of your screen. That's the velocity of the first stage. We're going to see that come all the way down to 0. On the right-hand side of your screen is our drone ship. And also keep an eye out on the left-hand side of your screen for landing leg deploy.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
People real excited behind me. Right in the middle, 5th landing for this Falcon 9, 130th landing overall for an orbital class rocket. Beautiful sight to see. Now coming up next is second engine cutoff number 1, or SECO 1. We'll expect the Merlin vacuum engine to stop firing just about 30 seconds from now. It's carrying the Dragon spacecraft to its drop-off orbit around our planet. After we complete second engine cutoff number 1, we'll do a quick check to make sure that the burn performance is as expected.
Stage 2 MTS.
We're in the targeted orbit. We usually hear that called out as a nominal orbital insertion or a good orbit call out on the loops.
And back shutdown.
So you heard a call out on the loops there for shutdown of the Merlin vacuum. There's nominal orbital insertion. So that means that the ground teams have assessed the orbit and stage 2 is right where we want it to be. And of course, that also means that Dragon is right where we want it to be, since it's been riding on the the second stage this whole time. Now, if you're just joining us, we're about T+9 minutes, 20 seconds into the mission. On the screen next to me is a view of the Merlin vacuum engine with Earth behind it on the second stage. Now, the second stage has one major task remaining, that is commanding separation of the Dragon spacecraft just a few minutes from now. And we're hoping to have video of separation from the top of the second stage. We actually got a quick glimpse of it before, but we've got a camera that looks up into the trunk of Dragon and gives us a little peek at some of the cargo that we're taking in that unpressurized section. You can see the EMIT payload there on the left-hand side of the screen. Now, the CRS-25 capsule will be joining the Crew 4 vehicle Capsule Freedom, which is currently on orbit, so we'll be back to dual Dragons docked at the International Space Station. CRS-25 will be headed to the Forward Harmony port on Node 2. We're expecting it to arrive on the 16th around 11:20 a.m. Eastern Time. There, it'll spend about 1 month attached at the International Space Station. Now, as for the cargo, today we are delivering more than 5,800 pounds of science, research, crew supplies, as well as vehicle hardware to the orbiting lab and its crew. And amazing, more views inside the trunk. Now, at this point, the second stage is performing its final checks to ensure that we're not imparting any unnecessary momentum or spin to the Dragon spacecraft. Once those calculations are complete, Dragon and the second stage will command separation. And shortly following separation, Dragon will conduct a series of health checks on its thrusters, its cabin thermal and solar systems, its navigation systems, in preparation for the upcoming 38-hour mission to the space station. Got about 30 seconds to go. If you're just joining us, we're looking at the second stage. Coming up real shortly to Dragon separation. This particular Dragon marking its third flight, and it also the third reuse of our upgraded cargo vehicle. This view looking into the trunk of the Dragon capsule, that's our unpressurized portion of the vehicle, and some of the payload that we're taking up to the International Space Station.
Dragon separation confirmed.
Phenomenal. So with that, CRS-25 gently floating away from Falcon 9's second stage. Again, coming up next, we've got some service section Draco checkouts, as well as nose cone opening. But that's actually going to complete my coverage here from Hawthorne. So I'm going to pass it over to Sandra at Houston to check in with the teams there. Sandra?
And thanks, Shiva. Welcome back into the International Space Station Flight Control Room. That was a beautiful launch from here in Mission Control Houston. Right now, we're just standing by for confirmation of the nose cone deployment. And we did just get confirmation that the nose cone was successfully deployed. That nose cone does cover the docking hardware, the navigation and rendezvous sensor, and the 4 forward bulkhead Dracos. The nose cone will stay open until the end of the mission, until after deorbit burn and just prior to re-entry. If you are just joining us, NASA and SpaceX's 25th commercial resupply mission launched from Pad 39A at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida at 7:44 p.m. Central, 8:44 p.m. Eastern Time this evening, and is currently in orbit and heading to the International Space Station. Dragon is filled with over 5,800 pounds of cargo and supplies, including a variety of science investigations, hardware, and fresh food for the crew on station, such as apples, oranges, cherry tomatoes, onions, carrot, garlic, tahini, and